XRP is coming back down as I record this update. I'm going to try to stay calm, cool, and collected as I present this update. And I titled this update XRP The Final Countdown because the final countdown is on, and we're talking within the next week. We are going to hear from Judge Torres on whether or not she agrees to the SEC versus Ripple settlement. I want to clarify a lot of confusion that I've been seeing over the past week on people thinking that this case is delayed out till August. That is not true. And I also need to clarify for people that yes, XRP was on the edge of breakout as I titled the video yesterday. XRP The Final Shakeout as I titled the video last week. That's what's playing out right before us. We expected this. Breakout can mean to the downside. It also can mean to the upside. In this video, I'm going to explain how the downside pressure that we're seeing here based off of the global conflicts, this is what's bringing us back down. But unless we break below a certain level, and that level is really low, I'll tell you right now, it's about $1.60, $1.50. If we hold that structure intact, the bullish posture is still there. And I still believe in XRP going to an all-time high, double digits, and even $20 to $30 this cycle. So stick around. I'm going to make this update quick. I'm going to try to stay calm because a lot of people are on edge these days. Flip a coin whether or not the United States is going to get involved in the Iran-Israel global conflict that's taking place right now. And that's the big thing. The reason why I titled the video last week, Final Shakeout, the reason why I've been warning about this moment right now is because we're on the edge of a breakout, and it's going to be determined on whether or not the United States does get involved. If we see an escalation, and it's going to have to be a big escalation, then that's what breaks XRP below $2. That's what breaks Bitcoin below 100,000. But as it stands right now, our market is desensitized to these global conflicts. Our market is desensitized to the tariff talk. Our market is completely desensitized to all the threats that are in front of us. And the final card that they had to play was this global conflict between Iran, Israel, World War III, call it whatever you want. This was the final card before the stablecoin legislation passes, market structure bill passes, big beautiful bill passes, SEC versus Ripple case concludes, and the XRP ETFs go live. This is it. Call it the final shakeout, call it the final card, call it the final countdown as I'm titling this video here today. Right now is where we're at. This is it. We are living through this moment. The downside pressure was to be expected. Why do you think I've been letting everybody know that I got my order set at a $2.03 XRP? I'm going long again. And I have more capital, and I'm going to be setting lower orders down below $2 just in case we get that. But the reality is that the $2 floor price has been established for the past 6 months. XRP has been holding $2 other than the Liberation Day tariffs, which took us down to $1.60 briefly for a day or so. We were below $2 XRP for not more than 2 days. And then we were back up above $2. So understand how solid this support is. Flip a coin whether or not we're going to see an escalation in this war. And if we do, that's what the catalyst would be to break us back below $2. What can you do? You can pray and you can prepare, having your limit order set, sit back, pray, and watch what unfolds. That's where we're at. Now let's get right on into it, guys. Here's the update. Bitcoin at 103,300 as we're looking at it right now. XRP did just come back below $2.10, but everything is still intact. Let me flip back to Bitcoin and show you. We did set a lower low yesterday, right? Zoom in on the chart. We did set a lower low from where we were at last week when the war broke out, but we did not go below the level that we saw when Elon Musk and Donald Trump got in a little fight. So that's how resilient this market is. Despite this global conflict breaking out, we have not gone below the level where Trump and Elon Musk took us the week before, back at the beginning of June. And so everything's still holding up. But like I said, I'm praying for peace. Flip a coin. If they escalate this, we break down. It's just that simple, right? With no emotions. We don't need to be dramatic about this. I continue to pray for peace. I'm not hoping that this happens. I know some people want to be able to buy lower, but we don't want to see this war escalate. But if it does, that's what takes us to these levels. For XRP, we got a $2 buy wall. We're holding up really well. We didn't go set a new lower low from last week. We went right back down to the same level of 209. Last week it was 208, and Elon Musk and Donald Trump took us down to 206. right? 206 for XRP from Elon Musk and Donald Trump, right into my purple box. Then last week, the escalation in the war takes us to 208. Yesterday, the market breaks down in anticipation of the United States getting involved, but we didn't even go below the level that we went to last week. We were still down to 209. Everything is still intact for XRP, but this chop, this consolidation is wrecking so many new people that got into XRP during the past 6 months. From December all through here to June, you have over 6 months of activity between $2 and $3 for XRP. This chop between $2 and $3 XRP, wearing a lot of people thin. And what they don't understand is that even if we go down to this downside, XRP has supports at $2, has supported $1.94, and the big one that we need to hold is $1.61. As long as we hold that, the bullish posture remains, and XRP is still on its trajectory to a new all-time high. X-Force Global says, just remember, the markets have recovered from just about any worst-case scenario possible. Mt. Gox implosion, China banning crypto and ICOs, the March 2020 simulation events, the collapse of Luna, the FTX fallout. All of those were the best buying opportunities for digital assets, just like the opportunity that could arise if we get an escalation. It says now people are worried about the possibility of a full-scale war. Bring it on. And he's talking from a market perspective. Obviously, we don't want to see this war escalate, but if it does, well, as long as we hold these levels, there's nothing to worry about, even for Bitcoin. Finally, some clarity showing up on the shorter time frames. Higher conviction in real-time analysis may show us a retest of the 90,000 region. One more break of the previous low will confirm that we are going for the 90,000 regions, then to insane new all-time highs. While the current structure can be interpreted as an ABC or WXY correction using Elliott wave structure, Elliott wave theory, this is a correction and it remains open to adjustment due to subjectivity. One thing is objectively clear. We're still operating within an insanely bullish wave 2 structure. Now, before I get to the XRP technical analysis, I wanted to clarify where we're at. I saw last week when the SEC was due on Monday to submit a response to the Court of Appeals, basically updating them on the case. And what the SEC did is they extended to draw this out till August 16th, basically another 60 days, to allow Judge Torres to give her decision on the SEC versus Ripple settlement. Now, when the SEC submitted this on Monday, a lot of people ran with headlines. A lot of people were clickbaiting that the case was extended another 60 days. Not true. Completely false. Because the decision from Judge Torres could happen at any day. And when I put out this tweet yesterday, it went pretty viral. There's over 100,000 views on this tweet. And the feedback was a lot of people calling it clickbait, a lot of people saying, don't tease us, a lot of people saying, no way, this case is extended till August, stop this crap, take down this post, you're a bad person. Well, nobody said that, but basically people got all worked up because I put out this tweet yesterday. Will we hear from Judge Torres today? 100,000 people saw it. A lot of people were upset. But why would you be upset asking a legitimate question when we know it only took Judge Torres a week for her response last time she had the SEC versus Ripple settlement in front of her? It only took her about a week, not more than 2 weeks to respond. And so we're right in that time frame where, we actually had a potential for Judge Torres to rule on it last week. She didn't. But the odds of her ruling on this next week is over 99%. Like you could almost say 100% that we're going to get a response from Judge Torres next week, whether or not she agrees and rubber stamps the SEC versus Ripple settlement. And this is why I say, we've been battling the FUD in the XRP community for years. Here we are in 2025, still dealing with this case and still dealing with FUD and misinformation around this case. This case is over for all intents and purposes. What we're watching right now is crossing T's, dotting I's. And as long as Judge Torres stamps the approval of this settlement, this case is over. And this case is coming to a conclusion. Most likely in the next few weeks, if she does agree to the settlement. And from most of the legal opinions that we've got from John D. and Fred Rispoli and others, they do think that she's going to agree to the settlement. So I'm not going to share my opinion. Obviously, you guys know, and I hope, and I have my bias that she does approve it. But from the legal experts, they say that this is probably going to suffice. This is enough for Judge Torres to approve this settlement. This is not something that we're waiting for till August. This is not something that we're waiting another month for. This is the final countdown is on. My title is not clickbait. The reason why I'm, putting out this update with such level of urgency is because now is when it comes in the next week, not August 15th, not next month in July, this week. So you better lock in and you better be positioned, because what happens next, flip a coin. If we get into the escalation of the war, we break down. But then think about what happens. We break down from the war, but within short order, we get a settlement agreement from Judge Torres. Within short order, we get the ETFs approved. In the ETFs, I know I've been hounding on this, but this is what takes us across the finish line, is the ETFs along with the institutional adoption of XRP. And in combination, that's what takes us to much higher prices and allows us to sustain much higher prices. But I just wanted to provide that clear, just so we're clear. We are going to hear from Judge Torres in the next week. No clickbait, no hype, no nonsense. I'm not here for that. I'm here to provide you guys the truth and real analysis on what's going to happen in these markets. And if you get past the short-term price action, and whether or not you're going to take advantage of that short-term price action, and you understand the fundamental undercurrent that's moving this thing forward, then you can see past the short-term price action, which may scare some new people, may be an opportunity that the veterans take advantage of, like myself. And I'm going to long the farm. I'm going to deploy all my capital if we do see this final shakeout, if we do see this simulation event take place. We're gonna deploy all of the capital that I've been sitting on, and I've been telling you guys, this is why we're not into the clear yet. This is the final card, though. This war. Now, X-Force Global. Not me. Even though I guess I am calling for a $20 to $30 XRP. But in this case, X-Force Global, he seems to be in agreement. Cycle target $20 to $30. XRP's internal wave counts for the flat scenario is dragging too long on the medium time frame that makes me want to narrow it down even more. This could actually set the stage for a faster bullish route to the upside once the pullback finishes. Let's take a look at his chart. He's talking about a pullback here, down below $2. And as long as we hold $1.60, he calls that the protected line or the invalidation line. So if we break below $1.60, look out. That we'll be having a different conversation if we break below $1.60. But as long as that level holds, what comes next is your wave 3. Your wave 3 that takes us to a new all-time high for XRP. Is that the end? Absolutely not. We continue that up to price discovery levels of $6, $7, $8 XRP. What happens after that? We finish this cycle. He says cycle target is $20 to $30. Now I've taken the ETF math and the inflows based off of that, and $20 to $30 checks out to me. When you combine that with all of the other utility the XRP seeing right now, the DeFi, XRP yields arriving, a lot of real world assets getting tokenized on the XRP ledger, more stable coins coming to the XRP ledger, on-chain activity picking up for XRP ledger, programmability coming to the XRP ledger, more institutions and more public companies putting XRP on their balance sheet as a reserve. All of these catalysts, along with the case concluding and the ETFs going live, is what takes us to double digits, and it does it this cycle. I am firm in my prediction that XRP will go to $20 to $30 within 1 year after the ETFs go live. The ETFs are set to go live. The final deadlines are in October. Most likely they go live in Q3. That's July, September, August. So July, September, August of 2026, you can come on back next year and you'll either be saying, Zach, you were right, or Zach, you were wrong. But one thing's for sure is that I'm always going to provide you guys honest analysis. Where's this thing going? Short term, probably a sweep of the lows, a sweep up to pick up some liquidity at $2. Maybe we go below $2, but I'm watching target levels of $2, $1.94, and also $1.60 on the low side. As long as we hold that, our bullish posture and structure remains intact. And XRP is on its way to an all-time high. It is on its way to a $10 double-digit price. And based off of the inflows that we most likely see, $20 to $30 could easily be seen as well. And that's my firm prediction for XRP this cycle, which takes us out to Q3 of next year, 2026. With that being said, let me know how you guys are prepared. Do you guys have orders set on XRP? I'm also looking to pick up some more DAG. Shouldn't be at 3 cents. The upside target that I have on DAG of the previous all-time high, 40 to 50 cents, that's a 10 to 13x from today's levels at 3 cents. It shouldn't be at 3 cents. And so I'm going to be taking advantage of that one. I'm going to be also taking a look across the rest of our utility cryptos that have performed the best since the election. We're talking about XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Sologenic, DAG, and others that we're going to be looking at accumulating a little bit more on those bags as well. If we do get this event, this escalation, God willing, we don't. But, flip a coin and have your orders set, continue to pray. And the good news is that our portfolios are positioned perfectly already. We shouldn't be having these opportunities to be buying these assets still at such cheap prices, but that's a gift. And we're going to take advantage of that. And let me know in the comments down below whether or not you agree with a $20 to $30 XRP. Is that too bullish? Is it too conservative? But hey, we do our best to let you guys know when the market's coming back down while reminding you guys that the bullish posture is still intact and the pathway to a new all-time high is still there. I don't want you guys to be shaken out. I don't want you guys to fall for this FUD. People thinking that the case is out till August. That's not true. The decision is on Judge Torres' desk. She may have already made it for all we know. Now we're just waiting for the announcement, and that's most likely 99% odds that it comes this next week. The final countdown is on. Don't be mistaken. Don't get shaken out. And don't be confused. And don't be scared. The path is clear. Path isn't straight. It isn't flat. There's some bumps. There's some curves. But we've positioned our portfolios with defensive measures. We've kept capital and liquidity on the sidelines so that we can continue to take advantage. And we've bought some of the best assets that build out this new financial system. It's just that simple. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you appreciate our content, make sure you're liking our videos. Help us out by sharing them out far and wide, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more content. And coming up for this week, I'm going to be sharing a lesson exclusively for the Discord group on trading futures. So if you want to learn about that, that's going to be dropping this week, exclusive for the Discord members. And then we're also going to be dropping our public deep dive on Stronghold, SHX. And then I'm also going to be doing a deep dive on Axelar. So stay tuned for that, okay? It's going to be a big week ahead. Make sure you guys have subscribed, hit that notification bell. ZachRector.com for all of our community resources. I appreciate your support. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.